Welcome back to another episode of Sips and Screams, where twin sister horror movie fanatics sip themed cocktails and discuss our favorites in the genre. Today we are discussing what has been hailed the scariest movie since the Blair Witch Project and the scariest movie you'll ever hear, 2026's Undertone, written and directed by Canadian filmmaker Ian Twasson, starring Handmaid's Tale's Nina Kiri and White Lotus's Season 2's Adam DeMarco. This one is a very slow burn about a young woman with the horror podcast. Some real parallels there to our own experiences. It's got an old, creepy house, a dying mom, demonic forces, creepy audio sounds, and one hell of an ending that amps everything up to 11. We cannot wait to dive into this one. I'm Ashley, and joining me today, as always, is my twin sister, Allie. Allie, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited because this is a very, very special episode for us.
Yes. Boy, oh boy. Do we have a special treat for everyone today? Today we are doing something brand new. We have our very first guest on Sips and Screams, and we could not be more thrilled. Joining us today is the casting director of Undertone, fellow Canadian Ian Bender. Yay!
Yay! Welcome, Ian.
Ian, we are so honored to have you with us today. How are you? It's Sunday morning. How's it going?
I'm so good. I'm ready to sip.
Yes.
I'm ready to, I'm ready for all of it. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. This is such a treat.
We're so excited to have you.
It's our treat. We're so excited.
It's our treat. We wanted to do this movie. We usually don't do new movies, to be honest. We usually do more of the classics, and we couldn't resist. We could not resist this one. It's everywhere. You must be so proud. And, we want to discuss everything about kind of your experience with this movie. And I did a deep dive. I definitely researched you on IMDb. And we also have some personal history as well. But what I was noticing is that you've done a lot of horror thriller movies as of late. So I have to ask you, this is going to be our first question. What's your favorite all-time horror movie?
Oh,
you weren't expecting that.
Really hard.
It is. We know.
Why
it's a tough one.
Do this to me. You know what? Honestly, I always go back to the same one, and it might not be because it's the best horror movie ever made, but it's because it's nostalgic to me. I grew up, my first memories are watching horror movies because
same.
I was
Us too.
I was a latchkey kid of the 90s and 80s, so
Same.
the VHS was always on.
Yeah.
We always had horror.
Oh, VHS, yes.
My favorite movie is Fright Night, 1980s Fright Night.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
That's
Wow,
a
that's
B,
unique. I love it.
C movie.
Sarandon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Such a vibe of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it holds up today. It's been a minute since I've watched it, but I for sure have the original VHS still, my VHS player. It's fun just to kind of go back into my childhood and watch these campy horror movies.
Yeah.
But I think number one is that just holds a place and always will, I think, because it just kind of made me go, hey, this is an odd movie.
We have to cover that, Ash. I mean, Ian, I've never seen it. Or, maybe when we were kids, but we'll have to revisit that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that disturbing?
And have me on, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, yes. I need to hear when the first time you watched it, too.
Okay, so that is fantastic. We always talk about our favorite horror movies. I'm The Shining, for me, I think is number one. Allie can probably agree. And Paranormal
Activity, yeah. So we've done, 27 of these episodes now, and I think Paranormal got a 10 out of 10 from both of us. It's just, found footage is everything. I really, really like it. Yeah, if it's found footage, I'm gonna give it a high rating.
Found footage and camp. So Ian, you nailed it. I'm anything campy, it can't be beat. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's the camp factor, and there's also that where the way they did it, where they would kill the vampires in that movie specifically, is they would they hit the sunlight, but they would make these wax sculptures of the people, recreations of the people, and they would melt them on high speed.
Yes.
So like you would see that like
remember
that
that.
sped up footage of like just the melting into like the skeletal. Like if you rewatch that is such an 80s horror vibe for me.
Yeah.
Like back when the practical effects, and that's just the magic for me.
I love it. I like when it wasn't all CGI, you know, like Nightmare on Elm, like all of those in the 80s were amazing.
Okay, I love it. We're setting the stage for Undertone. And before we get really started and into a deep dive with you, Ian, we want to, what time is it, Elle?
I mean, it is killer cocktail time.
That's
and
right.
yeah, this one, I mean, yeah, let me see if I can break this one down, why we're drinking what we're drinking today. A lot of this movie, for Evie at least, the main protagonist, takes place in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. But, you know, her co-host of the podcast, it's early morning for him. So what better to drink early morning than mimosas? With orange juice.
Yeah.
And your
Cheers.
Orange juice, cheers. Ian, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for drinking a killer cocktail with us.
Yes, have a sip.
Oh, it's
great.
Killer.
Yeah.
It's killer.
I'm killed.
You're killed.
I like that looking at the different colors here. Like mine is pretty like less opaque. Like Ash, yours is quite opaque actually. Ian's yours as well. Yeah.
Ian, yours is
Mine is
definitely opaque.
Literally just orange juice.
Yeah.
Yes. But we're cheersing it anyway. You've got a fancy glass
fine.
there. I love it.
So I want to go back. And just kind of ask you how you got into casting and what kind of your experience was just kind of first getting into casting. What was that like? And what can you tell us?
I had always wanted to be an actor growing up, and I did some acting as a kiddo, and I went to theater school. So I originally, my journey started out as an actor and a performer. I did a lot of stage work and music theater and all of that. And so through the early 2000s throughout until I was about close to 30, I pursued acting, and I had a great time doing it. It was so much fun. But then I, wanted to kind of see what else I could do with these skills that I developed and have a little more stability for myself as far as not, every time I'd get a job, I would have to pack my bags and go on tour with something or be an out-of-town show for a bit. So I came to a point in time where I wanted to establish roots, but then also I was lost as a person because I went to theater school. I didn't have a traditional education. So I'm like, what can I do with these skills and this passion that I have, that I've always had? And I had a friend that was a casting director in Los Angeles, and kind of took me under his wing and let me ask all the silly questions I needed to ask to kind of get my head around it.
Right.
And then I started working for a local Toronto casting director named Ashley Hallahan.
Ashley Hallahan.
Yes.
So that's our mutual
Yeah, we
connection.
know Ashley.
We grew up with Ashley in Miramichi, New Brunswick, and then I ran around Toronto with her for many years. And she speaks very highly of you. I was Instagramming her a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, Ian's the best. So I actually didn't know that you guys had casted this movie, and I was seeing it everywhere. And then I'm like, wait,
I saw you post it. I think I saw Ashley post it, and then I followed you, I think, from that, Ian, and then saw you post it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. We were on another podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we were telling, like, we know the casting directors of this movie.
Them.
It was crazy.
I could not be more pleased for you. What a journey kind of that you've had. So you were with Hallahan Casting, and then did you kind of branch out on your own, or how did that kind of come about?
So I started working, as most people do, I started working as Ashley's assistant because she needed help, and I knew Ashley beforehand through friends, and we were kind of friendly before I worked for her, and she was kind enough to kind of take me under her wing and really kind of show me the ropes and all it is. It's quite a challenging job. Like there's a lot behind the scenes that we don't know that goes on. We're essentially like an HR position. We're hiring people, and we're so there's that balanced with the creative side of the business, which is being able to interpret a script, talk creatively with the directors, understand their vision behind a project, so that we can kind of unite them with the cast that feels right for the film. So that's the exciting exciting part of it. But Ashley really kind of took me under her wing to show me the whole aspect of casting and what's required. And then we started co-casting together after a little bit, and we really kind of grew together. It was really exciting to work together and to start to see the jobs become a little bit bigger and our name kind of get a bit more. And and since then, Ashley has gone on to a different industry, which is so amazing for her. She's killing it in her industry now. And
the skills translate.
Successful anywhere. The skills translate, and she is a boss lady. She is incredible, such a powerhouse. So I'm so happy for her. And but then it also gave me the opportunity to be able to kind of branch out on my own now, and I'm starting to try to make a name for myself. And it's, Undertone is certainly helping.
Yeah, it must
more
be.
than anyone else in my position normally would, because I'm a local Toronto casting director. I'm not a big LA figure. I'm not
yet.
I'm not a big.
Give it time, Ian. This is the stepping stone. Yeah,
give it a minute. But it's so exciting to experience this, and I'm so happy for you too.
So I have to say, Ian Bender is the best stage name ever, and that's your real name. Your name is Ian Bender.
Literally, my dad's last name is Bender.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It really rolls off the tongue. Yeah, it's really good.
Well for you.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of puns we can make with it as well. It's fantastic. I love it.
So, Ian, do you do exclusively casting now? Are you still dabbling in acting, or is it just casting now?
Just casting now,
Just casting.
I mean, I use that passion and all those skills I developed to do my job. But, I had to make the decision, especially when I became a full-time casting director, that, it's a bit of a conflict of interest to put yourself in your own shows.
Cast yourself in those.
Yeah, how that would go over with agents and actors. It was like, I saw 30 actors and
I'm the best one.
I think I'm the one for the job. It's the easiest get.
Well, I love how casting, but casting is becoming. I mean, it's huge right now. There's an award at the Oscars, right? The first one was the other night, and it was because we knew you were coming on, Ian, and I was watching that, and I was like, it's so cool, like how timely, right? To be speaking with a casting director too. So that's very exciting. So maybe an Academy Award isn't in your future.
Yeah,
you never know.
Keep going.
I wouldn't hold my breath, but maybe I'd sip a cocktail.
Yeah, there you go. Nice segue.
I love that segue. Yeah, segue into our sipping our mimosas.
Okay, so I don't know if you've Googled yourself. I have. I Googled myself, but you specifically for this. Okay. So people are saying a lot of great things about you. And one of the things that they say is that and now it makes sense given your acting history, is that you are a pro actor casting director. So can you tell us a bit about kind of your process in casting? Because that's the name, that's all the rage on the internet. So tell us a bit about your casting director process.
Well, I always think of it from an actor's perspective still. I still have that brain working here. So when I take on a job, and I also we put together our process of auditioning for a project, I always have in mind the actor and their experience and what would make their lives easiest. So there's certain things that I like to put into my projects if I can, some of which is just giving them enough time to prepare the material for us. So often, it's a rush job sometimes if you have a film that's going to camera very soon and we can't give a ton of time to audition. But if I have that luxury of time, I want to give it to the actors so they are able to take the time that they need to prepare a great audition for me, and that makes my job easier in the end too. And I think it shows some respect to the actor as well. And so I'm a big believer in that, and just all around the way that I kind of think of the industry and read a script, everything. I break it down the same way I did as an actor, but now I get to do it for all of the roles that I'm preparing for other actors to take on. So when I get a script and I read it and I analyze it, I'm still using that actor brain to kind of break down all the characters and understand their backstory and all the work that you have to do as an actor. I get to do that with all the roles. So honestly, it feels very exciting and rewarding to be able to have that fun with it and brainstorm and get creative. Yeah.
And I feel like that's got to be an asset too, right? Having that acting background and coming at it, the approach that you take, right? With finding the right people. Yeah.
I mean, your passion is palpable. So
I feel it. I feel it, Ian, like through the screen, you know?
It's the mimosa. Blame the mimosa.
A little more than that.
But, you know, there is an aspect. There's a lot of casting directors that I really admire, too. And then when I was an actor, and then now that I've been working alongside them or have met them from this side of the table, as we call it, you find out the casting directors that I really admired as an actor and really got me are the ones who also came from an acting background. So I think there is something to it. You don't have to be obviously you don't have to be an actor in order to become a casting director. There's lots of talented casting directors from all backgrounds. But, you know, I think there is a special connection there. There's just something that you understand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So you mentioned something, you know, kind of coming at it from an actor. So has it changed since the pandemic? Is it a lot of in-person casting or is it a lot of self-tapes? How has that kind of evolved, I guess, since COVID?
Yeah, it's really changed a lot. I started casting before COVID, and we would have in-person auditions and callbacks and bring people in, which is such a luxury. Because there's an energy that you get in the room with the actors, and there's a connection, and you get to take that beat to like say hello to them and calm them down a bit and have a bit of chat before if they're nervous. So I like that hands-on attention that I get to bring in, that connection that you get in the room. And however, one of the luxuries of post-COVID casting is it opened us all up to the ability to have more self-tapes and have a larger reach with actors. Before that, self-tapes were only a last-minute resort. Like if we really didn't have the budget or it was very quick and they weren't always, you know, there wasn't a uniform process for actors to do self-tapes. It's a big job to kind of figure out, like, how do I set up a camera? You have to be the camera person, you have to be your own director, you know, so, but it allows us to see more people and give more people opportunities, or at least a chance, which I love that, because I love being able to, like, you know, see more actors and then be able to whittle them down and then bring them in person in a smaller package. And I think that kind of allows us to just really cover a larger ground with all the actors and give them opportunities. And that's the most rewarding thing for me. That's the biggest change. And I think slowly we're starting to come back in person a little bit more. I think actors really want that. I think creative teams are starting to come around to it as well. So we're finding ways to be creative to try to get people back in the room or either a hybrid or a full in the room session. I think it's really useful. And there's an energy that you get that you chemistry reads and things like that.
Yes.
You know, how people, you know, if they're playing best friends or partners, lovers in a film, like it's hard to like have just two Zoom screens up and see what connection and that spark.
I can't imagine that. That would be so difficult. But even if there's even a
virtual
delay or
screen
anything,
test.
I feel like that would be challenging.
Like all through COVID, it was all virtual screen tests and after, and still is sometimes, but there's an energy for chemistry read that you need to see them in person.
Definitely.
How do they feel? How do they look together? And
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I love hearing all your
things.
I
love it.
I love hearing all your kind of insights and behind the scenes, like how it actually happens, because we only see the end product, you know. You have no idea the steps it took to get there. Okay, so I want to get to Undertone. Okay, so this movie, right, limited on-screen characters, right? Yeah. So a lot of voice work, audio casting, I'm assuming. So what was the casting like for Undertone? How was it kind of different than other movies, and how did you approach that? What did it look like?
Well, as soon as I was sent the script early on, I knew it was different. There's something
just from the script itself.
I think when you've seen the movie, you'll understand. I was like, this is not like anything I've ever read before. You know, I was sent some of Ian's work prior to that, that he'd been working on, sort of like samples and shots to kind of give tone, and vibe of the film and the characters. He's just a genius. I mean, his mind, this our writer and director Ian Twesson, his mind works differently. And thank goodness for that, because he is so good at what he does, and he's created this world and this new energy in horror. And it was palpable in the experience of reading the first script. I felt it, because he had every shot kind of listed out. you knew, because he's so detailed in how he wanted it to look and feel as a
Right.
filmmaker. So helpful in, it's not always needed in a script, but it was really helpful for this when we don't have as many people on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of
And-
pressure
and even-
finding the right
oh,
people
man.
to bring on, and you're only going to be seeing 2 people on screen the whole time, and also at the same time we cast everything and shot it in that house so that like the voices they recorded them in that house that they shot it at. as
Oh, they were
Oh.
they were there recording it during it,
They-
and even
I didn't know
casting was in the
that.
house. Ian, even the casting
No.
was done in the house.
I didn't cast in house, but
Okay.
they recorded when they recorded Mike and Jessa.
Yeah.
Their voices, they recorded them in the house.
Oh,
And
wow.
the interesting
Cool.
thing is when Nina is hearing them on screen,
Yeah.
the audio recordings, that is the first time she's ever hearing those voices in those
I
recordings.
read that.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
Very creepy.
Yes.
Authentic.
Can you imagine? I can't even
authentic.
imagine.
No.
Yes, what she was going through. They were those recordings though, or they were doing it live and then she was listening to it, or they had Mike and the actors who played Mike and Jessa had pre-recorded those.
Yeah, they had attached them earlier, and they recorded them 2 weeks before principal photography happened.
Okay.
So it was in that space, so it felt familiar, and it would feel for her
Yeah.
like they are next to her.
Yeah.
And have that extra expense as well. And Ian is very much about energy, and so it really kind of added, and everyone had the experience of being in the home, and
Yeah.
the energy of the home. It really kind of like brings it together, right?
Which,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it was
the
his.
home is so cool.
I've done a little bit of, internet sleuthing because it was his childhood home, right? It was his home. He still lives there.
And
This is his house.
but he made it not. He added a bunch of things to make it even more sort of 90s, right? Did I read that as well? Yeah.
Yes, our production designer, Mercedes
Older lady.
Carla,
Yeah.
is incredible.
It was so good.
She's so good at what she does, and we didn't have much money to make this movie, so
Yeah.
it's a very small budget, which it was. They're very good at working with small budgets. These filmmakers, we've worked with them before on other similar budgeted projects, and they always look like a zillion dollars when they are finished with it because of how detailed they are with it.
Canada's real scrappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any
Yeah.
Canadian thing is scrappy. They're like really
Yeah.
good at,
If there's a
at
will,
making the most
we
of it.
will get it made.
Yes. Yes.
and horror especially. I think just like the Canadian take on genre film in general is really exciting. It's
Yeah.
we've got there's something to be said about people who have to survive through a Canadian winter every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That
bit
changes
of-
you. It does.
Resilience. It's resilience.
Resilience.
Yes.
Yeah, a little
Yes.
callous that we have.
Yeah.
So we go a little loopy when we're making our horror movies. We go there. We go there.
Were you as the casting director? Are you there the whole time during filming as well, Ian, or is it kind of your role is more before casting and then out?
I was working during the background in the background at home and in my office, like doing the work pre-production, and during it after as well, because we have some voice actors, so we don't need to do all the actors cast at the same time. We would pepper some in throughout as well if we added extra characters, or maybe we needed an extra caller or something a month later. We could record that in studio and then put it in before the final edit. So there's ways that we were able to kind of like stagger it a little bit, which was a luxury with having a very large ensemble voiceover cast. So it was that was a nice luxury with it, is being able to work with schedules and on camera cast.
Like, what do you look for? Because I watched it in the theater. I watched it in a nice theater with the great sound, and you're listening and you're like, my God, like those voices are radio. Like they're so good, and creepy. Like how do you cast that? Do they just send you the audio? Are you not looking at them? How does it work?
Yeah, so I don't like to watch them. So when I do a voiceover audition or an off-camera, we call it, audition or role, I don't like seeing them. I think it takes me away from it. I don't like my filmmakers to see them either, unless they specifically requested.
Yeah.
because I think it gets you into the zone if you just hear the voice and you don't have a vision or image attached to it, especially if it's a known actor. Like we had Ari Millen play Dr. Ram, which is pretty exciting. And he's a pretty well-known actor, and he's going to be in the new Ice Cream Man film, Eli Roth's film that's coming out. So we were very excited to have him on board. He's friends with the team as well. So but I'm sure that if it would be a little distracting seeing his face and voices.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a.
I didn't know it was him. I didn't know.
I didn't either. I didn't know it was him either. I mean, I remember the phone call.
Yeah, he was. So it was creepy. 3 a.m. phone call about a pregnancy test.
Thanks, doctor.
Ruined my day.
I feel that's committed though. I mean, like cares about his patient.
Only in Canada. That would only happen in Canada.
That's a Canadian shout out. Health Canada healthcare system.
That's exactly it. That's social health care for you. You get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so in terms of, so you talked about the director, Ian Twasson. So did you work closely with him? Like, do you send him a list? Is he able to veto any of it? How does that kind of work? The process of the casting director and the director of the movie?
Yeah, so it's a combination of working with the producing team, and with the director as well. And especially someone like Ian, like he had his hands full. So my job as a casting director, and the producer's job as well, is to kind of protect the filmmaker, to protect the director and the writer if they have a lot on their plate. So we're only pulling them when we need them. So there's ways that we do that when we present them options. But of course, I'm having creative meetings with them, and it also just is very important because he had such a direct vision and line of what he wanted for each of the characters. So it was a kind of a treat to be able to work with him, because he would know right away what he was looking for, and his notes were fantastic. His feedback was great, which is just a treasure to have from a new filmmaker. So the process was very smooth, and I kind of had an idea of exactly kind of what he wanted going into it.
The fact that he was so involved, I mean, I read, you experienced it obviously, but I remember reading about he would have like really specific directions of where the audio was coming from, right? Like the baby crying here, the faucet here. It was very detailed, right? As you said.
And was that in the script? Was that in the original script, Ian, as well? Like that level of detail?
A lot of that, and I think there were more in like in earlier versions of the script as well, but there was so much of that detail. And that was what's so helpful when you're reading it, because it's different reading a script and interpreting it than like seeing this end product with all the voices and all the special effects. Because it's really 2 movies in one. We got like an audio edited movie, and then we have the visual. The put together, it's kind of it. So until I saw it for the first time at Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal last summer, an earlier cut of it that we had, that's when everything clicked for me. I was like, like it all makes sense, because when you're reading the script and he has all of those descriptions on like where everything is here and there, it was so helpful. It really gave me an idea, but it's not until you see the end product and what they do that I knew it was a different film. It felt different than anything else I'd worked on before.
Did you know then when you saw it for the first time that it was going to have the success that it did? Did you think so?
I mean, I never think so. I'm such an independent filmmaker, casting director, if I did that with most of the films, I'd be pretty upset all the time. But,
okay, fair enough. Keep the expectations moderate.
Expectations low, moderate, but I knew that the team was incredible, and I knew there was energy at Fantasia Film Fest. So there was an energy around this film that was really exciting.
People have been talking about it for a while. I know. I mean, I saw the trailer a few months ago, like that little snippet of it, and it was amazing. I was like, what is this? What is this? Yeah. People have been like talking about it. Yeah.
Some really good marketing behind it.
Oh yeah. Amazing marketing.
Oh gosh, the A24 marketing machine.
Yeah.
I mean, and then also just the filmmakers, the marketing that they did, having all the influencers come and watch the movie at his home at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was
really? Oh,
so cool.
Yeah. There's
wow.
videos.
In the place, like you're watching the movie and you're in it.
3 a.m.
Yeah, they sat these influencers, these creators at Evie's desk.
Yeah.
And watched it on her laptop.
No.
Everything. It was right, the chandelier over
With headphones, Ian, did they have headphones on, or were they? Yeah, okay, 'cause that was super effective. Yes.
the headphones, which was very cool.
No. Wow.
Yeah, so when they told me about that, I found out about it at the premiere in Toronto. Ian was telling me about it. I was like, what are you guys doing? These influencers, they're never going to sleep again. That's very
Oh, I'd be into it.
Me too.
I would
down.
buy tickets. He should sell tickets to that. I'm like, I want that experience, like the real Undertone experience.
People probably are going to the house. Yeah, or they will. Man, if they find out where it is.
Yeah, he's going to just sell that eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask about Nina Kiri. So was she, like, how did her casting come back? Because she carries the whole movie. I mean, it's her, right? So she's very talented. How did that kind of come to fruition?
Well, she had worked with Cody, our producer. Dana maybe had worked with her before. She'd worked with, Ashley had cast her, or we had cast her in some other of Black Fawn films prior to Handmaid's Tale. So there was a bit of a history there. So, and she's kind of a regular in our minds of people that like Ashley and I love and are fans of. Really incredible person, super talented.
Yeah.
Just so interesting to watch on
Very.
camera too. There's a subtleness to what she does and how she builds in these levels of emotion and through the performance. So we cast her. We didn't make Nina audition for this.
Okay. This was offered.
We have to remember at that time it was not an A24 film. It was a tiny little budget thing. We were so grateful to have her. We can afford her for. We were so grateful that she came on board. So it was just basically us as a team kind of spitballing ideas. Then we had other kind of names going around trying to figure out as we do who would be the right fit for the role. And Nina just seemed like the right person. And thank goodness that she had time and was able to do it.
She has to do.
She killed it. She's very good at horror too. Yeah, she does. I love just her looking around. I like her with the headphones and just the way she would look around. I feel like it was very authentic. It's what I would do too. Yeah. You'd be like, you think you hear something, you think you see something. I mean, she was incredible.
Yeah, love her.
So good, and her performance was so perfectly subtle. It's every time I watched it, I can't get bored.
It was, It's not over the top. It's and that creates for me tension. You're just kind of watching her and like, what is she going to do next? And it just anxiety inducing for sure.
Oh yeah, like, every time 3 a.m. comes, you're like, oh my god.
You're like, no. And she puts those on, and the clock goes, and you're like, oh no, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh man, when it's just that
3 a.m.
Ooh.
I know. I had to take all the clocks out of my house. I'm like, I can't.
That sound.
Only digital.
Did you have Ian a clock that was doing that, and you had to take it out? No. I have one. I had one in my house in California, and I had current husband had to have him like take it out because I could hear it. He had it in his bathroom. I could hear the click when I was like in my office, and I was, oh man, it drove me mad.
Okay, so in a lot of horror movies, the cast, the production casting, they talk sometimes about crazy horror haunting experiences, right? That happened kind of during the process of making the movie. Do you have one of those? Anything you want to share?
Not firsthand from it. Except for all the nightmares that I've been having. When I was casting it, and then after I saw it for the first time, I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning randomly.
No, you weren't. Oh, no.
I was. There's some creepy things that happen on set. I think there's a lot of energy that they felt in the home, and there were some creepy incidences that happened while they were filming. Some flickering of lights and some noises, and I think that there was an all-around ominous, interesting vibe to the set, which I kind of added, I think, to the energy felt by all the actors and people around. Honestly, I think that might, I think this film might have a little bit of that in with it. That might be the secret sauce.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's so open, and all the actors were so open to allowing to experience whatever came their way.
Did they film it in the middle of the night, like the 3 a.m. time frame, or were they kind of blacking it out and filming it during the day? Was it filmed at night?
Kind of all over. We played some filmmaking tricks and stuff there, of course.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm not sure what their shoot schedule was like exactly. I'm sure there were some very late nights. I'm sure there were some 3 o'clock in the morning moments with them. Yeah, but I think most of it they tried to keep reasonable kind of work hours for the actors.
Okay.
I feel like the lighting was its own character, right? Like the lighting,
I love the lighting.
like the weird, creepy blue upstairs, and then like the warmer lighting downstairs.
Yes.
That
Are you
terrible
kidding me?
fluorescent lighting.
No.
I know, but I mean, it looked terrible for anyone else.
You
but
wouldn't want to
great
live in
for
it,
film.
like for a
Great
horror
for
movie.
film.
It's great.
On the podcast with like fluorescent lights, but it was so creepy.
It was great
I
for
liked the
film.
juxtaposition of the podcast piece where she's on her Mac or whatever it was, and doing that, and then in this like old school home with all of the old school decor and everything. I loved that too. That was great.
Okay, so Ian,
Wallpaper.
would you stay the night in that house alone?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's like no way.
No hesitation.
Only if I can sleep on the staircase.
See, I would be like absolutely yes. Like I would totally stay. Yes, 100%, 100%. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe with like a whole bunch of friends, or like maybe with like the whole crew. I think that would be kind of fun. We'd all just like freak each other out all night, like play pranks on each other.
People would want to see that. I think if the crew, everyone who worked on the movie goes and spends the night there. I mean, people would want to see that. Like live stream that. Come on, that's good. That goes viral. Like people would be into that.
I'd be a little freaked out too, because I think that they probably had that place kind of like wired up a little bit. It's been made for the they use it. So I think the wiring. I feel like they would someone be playing some tricks on me. The lights would start flickering at 3 o'clock.
The random religious figurines just like staring.
Move around. Yeah.
A little doll. Yeah. Telling me that she likes it in the dark. Yeah. Gosh.
Okay, so I mean, the success of this movie is it's just absolutely everywhere. Your family members must be so excited and proud. Have they seen it? What's their take on it?
You know what? I actually took my family, my nieces, my sister, my mom. We all went to see it. Well, I'm actually my hometown now. I'm in Kingston, visiting my family. So we took my family to go see it last night in the theater, which is so exciting.
Yes.
It's just it's cool. I haven't had a lot of big movies in theaters, so it's always so exciting when I get to go to my hometown theater that I grew up going to see movies in, to see one of my own in it is kind of a cool.
That's amazing.
Moment.
Yeah. Did you all wait, and then you all waited to the end, and you saw the credits, and then you waited for your name? Yeah, I stayed. I did as well, Ian. I stayed, and I waited to see your name. I was very excited. Yes, I did. And a lot of us did.
I was like, no.
I did. I stayed, and I saw your name. I saw Ashley's name. Yeah.
So in terms of, I just kind of have a general question, as she was like a casting director. How is casting horror different than other genres? Because I know you've done some other genres as well. Is there something kind of unique about it?
Yeah, I do it all. I mean, I love casting anything. I've done some action and done comedy, but I do gravitate towards horror because I am such a horror fan. I grew up just living, watching.
Cheers!
Yeah,
cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Same. Since little kids, we were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Grew up on it.
So a latchkey kid of the 90s.
That's right.
Raised on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I gravitate towards it. When I get one of those scripts in, and they're really fun to cast because it's kind of neat to see where actors go and how far they take it and what their interpretation of it is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting sometimes seeing actors who don't always have a lot of experience in horror because they bring a different perspective to the performance. Sometimes there's a more of a grounded nature to it. Like Nina has experience in horror, but she had been working and building a name on Handmaid's Tale and some of those other projects. So it was really interesting to see what she was able to bring to it. And she's such a grounded performer that I think that it was really kind of exciting. But to get back on track for myself there, I think that I gravitate towards horror films, and it's really fun to watch them. I'm a fan of them. So whenever a good script comes to my desk, because there are some scripts that we pass on because it just doesn't.
In horror, there's a lot. I would imagine in horror too, you're getting a lot of some of those B movie scripts.
You have to be careful, and it's about the filmmaker, and it's about it all comes down to the script too. Honestly, if the script is good, it's good, and if it's bad, it's really bad.
How did
Quite the actor to bring that to life.
yeah, when you were casting the Justin character and Adam DeMarco, we know played that character. How did that come about?
You know what? I actually didn't cast him.
Oh, you didn't cast it?
No,
He's great in it. He's so great in it. That voice, you're like,
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a podcast voice. Yeah,
He's incredible. I mean, I'm such a fan of his work, and I
me
had
too.
the luxury of getting to kind of meet him throughout the process a couple times, and such
Nice.
a nice person.
Yeah.
And so we had an incredibly talented casting director from Los Angeles, a big American casting director named Nancy Nayor, and she cast The Companion, and she's done a few other
great movie.
films. And
I love The Companion. Oh, I love that movie. Yes.
So she's incredible. So when A24 came on board, they had an existing relationship with her, and they needed to bring Justin on. So I that was done through her, and she did an incredible job finding him for this. Like,
he creeped me out. I was like,
He did. It was so good. Yeah, the back and forth.
And so much of that was recorded ahead of time, so they weren't in. They recorded some of it together, but some of it was separate. So it's really interesting how he was going to integrate there.
They had good back and forth too. And I know that was like kudos to the actors for doing that, but it was great. And were the other people at the end, so those were all separate people? Like every single person who called in, that was a separate person, or was someone doing kind of two voices?
No, all separate.
All separate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cool because they were creepy. It was good.
Cast, different people.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah.
Like how creepy can you be?
And we had to play a lot with we want to play a lot with like accents and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because, that's how you can kind of tell the difference. Like timbre, accents, the way that people's voice quality is you can tell them apart of different people.
Oh, yeah.
For example, there was a nurse at one point, and we wanted it to be realistic to that experience. So we wanted to make sure that we had, an actor that sounded a bit different and felt more realistic. And so you can see throughout the film, like a kind of the ensemble voice cast, has all different kind of tones and energies to them, which is kind of cool and kind of brings it together and makes it feel like a full cast film, because it really is. It's not a massive cast, but it's a full film.
No, it is. And it helps with like thinking it, because where is she supposed to be in it? I know Justin is in the UK, I'm assuming, because of the time change. London, yeah. And where is she supposed to be in it? Did they state that in it? Maybe I forgot where she's supposed to be, but East Coast somewhere.
I thought it was on
East Coast.
Stated. So I think it's East. I think when we were doing it,
Toronto.
we were imagining like Toronto.
Yeah.
But it's not mentioned, so we'll see.
The look of the house felt like Toronto to me.
That's up to Ian. But it felt like Toronto. I felt like
It felt like
Toronto.
Yeah. And then I was like, and Justin just recording his podcast before going to work, at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then we had her doing it at 3 a.m. Yeah. It was, that's
Different
commitment.
experiences. Wait, have you seen, so Ian, the other big like Toronto horror that was also filmed in one of those houses in Toronto, Black Christmas, have you seen that? Like the original Black Christmas? Yeah. The house reminded me of it.
That's the house is in a neighborhood named Forest Hill.
Forest Hill, yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when I first moved to the city, it was like my first week. I moved to Toronto, and the first thing I did was went and found that house.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love it. That is
campaign.
like a destination for you. Yes.
Also, Drake's hometown. Drake's from there.
Is he from Forest Hill? He's from Forest Hill.
He's from Forest
He's
Hill.
like down the
yeah.
street.
Enough
from
to
the
work
Black
for Drake
Christmas.
a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I've cast a couple of his music videos.
Oh, you have. Oh, you do
So
music videos too, Ian.
I cast I think
You're
one
busy,
of his album
Ian.
covers and all this. Yeah.
How's that? So that must be a different experience than casting a horror movie like this one.
A little bit.
I mean, surprisingly similar. I mean, it's a very,
Does he film them in
music
Toronto?
videos are very heightened, like acting
Yeah.
as
Okay.
well, the same
Yeah.
thing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, his team is incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
he's talented as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
a cool opportunity to get to like work with one of these people, and it's a pinch me moment as well. Where especially
For sure.
I don't cast a lot of music videos.
Yeah.
I'm selective in who I cast for, but someone like Drake or it's always going to be a high production value, and it's always going to be kind of cool and neat when you see the music video come out and that's popular, and I can say to myself, oh, I had a little part in that.
So are you like Degrassi Drake or like music Drake? Like, did you watch Degrassi growing up and loved?
Degrassi.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah. And I met him way back in the day, like when he was youngster, like when we were the same age, but like when he was doing Degrassi still and stuff. And so I remember seeing him before he was like famous, and then meeting him later on as well, and after all the success and
still humble, still Canadian.
Yeah.
Still humble.
Yeah.
I used to be a server at in Toronto a restaurant, so I got to know him
Me too.
when he was famous from serving him and making tables.
Oh, really?
Exactly. So I would always be, serving him and meeting his fans and stuff. And then now after I get to work for him, and I don't, I'm not like on a call with Drake going through like auditions, but his team.
I love that. That's so cool. So the other actress, the mom, the poor mom, the dying mom, Michelle Duquette. So did you
breath control? Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, how did you cast her? What was that process like?
That was tough. It was really, we really had to develop a process of finding the right way to cast that role, because there really aren't many lines. There are lines,
Yeah.
We won't go much further than that, but there are some, very few lines. You don't hear her very often. You don't hear her. So it's an incredibly detailed and challenging performance for any actor. So I knew, part of me was like, these two roles are cookies to cast. They are exciting, but very tough and a lot of pressure. So we saw a lot of actors, and I did a lot of research and studying myself on palliative care, end stage life, and what that looks like, and the realities behind it, to bring some to make it more realistic and hit, because I think that was really important, at least for me in that performance. I needed to be natural. I didn't want to be too much. I wanted to be subtle and feel realistic, and I think that's what Ian wanted as well. The team was really set on that, and Michelle was just from that performance that she gave, and it's some people will look at it and think, oh, she had the easiest job ever. She just had to lay in a bed and pretend to breathe all day. No, that is. She was unable to. She couldn't blink her eyes. She had to develop a method to release like the muscles in her neck and her mouth to stretch. Because if you see Michelle, like you see red carpet photos of her, she is stunning.
Yes. She
is
stunning,
beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then the makeup team is incredible, and really had to kind of like weather her and age her for Mama. And but she did so much of that work herself, creating like that, relaxing her face, and the way she held her body, and the way she had the breath control.
I was amazed by that. Yeah, it was incredible.
And just physical performance all around. It was just such a treat. When I saw her tape, it was kind of a no-brainer. It was, and we needed to match her. We cast her after Nina, because or simultaneously. We had the tapes, or all the auditions and everything ready, and we had the choices, but we needed to make sure the mom felt appropriate to Evie. So we attached her after Nina, and best decision, honestly, that they made.
I obviously thought that Justin and Evie had rapport, even though, they weren't on the screen together. But, the mom and Evie, it was like the care and like the caretaking part of it. Even though she didn't speak, the energy of it was like the rapport was there. It was really sad, like watching it. Really well done. She was amazing.
She did, incredible performance, and their connection too. And everyone in this cast is just so lovely. All these people are just kind humans, and I think that's like Michelle brings a special energy to the cast and the ensemble that really kind of united the team and the filmmakers, everyone together. And she really kind of held a lot of that spirit for the film. So I think, I couldn't imagine it without her, honestly. And I just hope that she goes on to continue to do incredible. She's had an incredible career already.
Oh yeah,
2 Men and a Baby. She was in Police Academy. She has a career behind her, and I just cannot wait to see how she continues to do it.
Had she done horror before, Ian? Or was this one of her first horror movies?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure she had done some form of horror through her career. But she did come to mind as like a horror performer. You know?
Right,
She's
right,
just one
right.
of those people that you think of, and you're like, yeah. they're-
The visuals stick with you. I gotta say, when I was going to sleep
scared
that
of
night
her.
after watching that movie,
I'm seeing Michelle. I'm like,
Yeah, the whole
yeah.
thing, yeah.
in the theater too was very. Every time she was on screen, I was. Yeah,
I actually did
We
mix
felt
it
it. Everyone
a few
felt it.
times.
So
I'm
did
like,
I.
I don't wanna
So did I.
see,
That
like,
one
I-
scene.
Yeah.
The one scene. The closet.
Well, there's-
Ooh.
Yeah. No spoilers. No spoilers.
No
yet.
spoilers. No spoilers. Sorry.
Just scary. It's a scary movie,
There's a
guys.
few times, there's some energy there,
Energy.
So
Good energy. Yeah.
Mama is very much an important member of this cast. So.
Absolutely.
It's so cool to see her
man.
do it. And it's neat to like be around them all. Like I got to go to Sundance with them. And
Oh, you did, Ian.
get to
That's
see the films.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I was I just kind of tagged along. I was.
This was when isn't it moving? So it was in Park City, right? But isn't it moving from Park City now? It's going somewhere
It's
else
going-
because
I think it's
Robert
going
Redford
Boulder.
has passed. Okay.
Yeah. So now, so it was last year in Park City, which is so
That's
cool.
amazing.
That's cool.
It was my first time getting to go to Sundance. And,
Yeah.
Ashley and I cast a movie called In a Violent Nature that went to Sundance in 2024. And but we didn't get to go along with it. I booked and blessed, but too busy.
Booked and blessed.
But this year,
That's
a little
incredible.
slower. Had time to go to Park City.
How was the reception at Sundance? It was really good, right?
Great.
From what I've read online. Yeah.
So exciting. It was really
Yeah.
cool. It was really neat to kind of be there and meet all the really fancy filmmakers that
Oh, yeah.
to support this as well, like all our executive producers. Yeah, so it was really kind of neat to be a fly on the wall to
Yeah.
kind of like experience it all and
That's amazing.
to just to support the film. And I'm just so proud and excited for these filmmakers who are just so talented, and now they have a platform. They're able to continue to make some cool things. So
Yeah. You should.
I'll see anything. I mean, I'll see.
You should be very
I'll
proud.
just- yes, it's incredible.
So, what kind of projects do you have coming up? What's next? For Ian.
I have a little announcement.
Oh, yes.
I already know, but we have In a Violent Nature 2.
Oh, love it.
Out in theaters later this year.
Yes.
I don't know the day, but I'm so excited. If anyone's
Amazing.
seen the first one, it's just take that one and increase that octane by about 300%. It's
Oh,
intense.
amazing.
I'm gonna watch it in the theater.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theater watch for sure.
Amazing.
It's gonna be, that iconic vibe that we get from that film, the first film. However, we're really they've gone up and beyond with the second one. So I'm very excited for people to see it. I can't say anything about it.
No.
But I can.
You don't have
there is
to.
a teaser out there
It's okay.
somewhere. If you Google the teaser, you
Okay.
can watch the teaser for the trailer, and it's really fun. It gives you a bit
We'll
of
try
a
to-
sense.
We'll share it. We'll share it. On our-
We'll try to find it and share it on our page. That's amazing.
Please do.
I'm
I'm so
excited.
excited for people to see that film next. So that's an exciting one that I'm looking forward to.
This is a big year for you, Ian. 2026.
This is big.
It's a very random year. I'm so happy. I'm as a Toronto independent casting director.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be working. And, so it's exciting to when the work gets seen and appreciated.
You're so humble. You're so Canadian.
You are humble. I know. It is lovely. I always love talking to you. I mean,
Sorry, I've been in the U.S. for too long. I'm like, sorry. It's like I'm really.
I know.
pronouncing it.
It's been too long. We're going home. We'll get back to Canada this summer, which will be nice. It's been a minute.
Did catch
So-
a day in there,
Go
and
to
it
the
was like,
Sicilian
yay.
Sidewalk Cafe.
Yes,
in Little
Sicilian.
Italy.
Just
Yeah.
the Sidewalk Cafe. Is it still?
Is it still there? Yeah. Is it still there?
Still around?
there. It's
Yeah.
there.
I
The
love
ice cream
it.
is still there. You can
It's
still
still
buy
there.
the ice cream in grocery stores here. So
Oh my goodness, I love College Street. I love Little Italy. I mean, I lived there.
Little Italy
forever.
in Toronto
Yeah.
was amazing. I lived there with Ash for a few months. When my 1 year in Toronto, I lived in a few different
months?
places.
You were
College Street.
with me for a few months. That's it.
Yeah, a few months.
A few
And
months,
Our place in
everybody.
College Street that was like above above a bar or something.
Yeah, above a bar.
We were like a block from Sicilian.
Sicilian.
I used to
Those
live
are
at
the
Grace in
days.
college. That's the
Yes. Yes.
place I lived in Toronto, right in the heart of Little Italy there.
I mean, I feel like I was
Oh,
at your
that's
house.
lovely.
We went to I was at a few house parties with you, I believe, with like
I think
Tori
we've
and
been
some
to a
other
couple-
people.
You've been to a couple of my apartments. I lived in two
Yeah.
places in Little Italy, and I think you've probably been to both.
Yes,
Because,
I think I have. Yeah.
All of my
Oh,
roommates
special,
at one point
guys.
had worked at Sicilian
Oh, we all
Cafe.
worked at Sicilian
I was the only one who didn't. Yeah.
You missed out, I guess.
I was there. I just wasn't getting paid.
That job. Like, you work at a cafe, and like those hours were insane. You're like scooping ice cream, you're doing like coffee, you're serving alcohol, you're doing sandwiches. I mean, you know what? It was a vibe, and it was always
busy
packed.
restaurant.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, people.
I still enjoy it.
An institution, I think.
It is an institution. So where can people find you, follow you? Where are you? Where can we find you?
On Instagram. You can find me Ian.Bender at Instagram. And that's probably the best place to follow me. I feel like I'm more online. I'm an elder millennial. So
Yes.
I'm not really into the TikTok quite
Aging
yet.
well.
But
The TikTok, yeah. Elder millennials, we're having our time right now, all right? I think this is our time, yeah. Yeah.
Resurgence.
All right, so follow him,
Yeah.
Ian.Bender on Instagram. He's responsive too, right? Like, he's responsive to most people.
We'll tag you, and I think we already have tagged you in some of ours. So we'll tag you, obviously, when this episode is posted, and in some of our reels as well. So,
Yeah.
Ian, you're the best. I can't wait. We're going to have you back on when we cover Fright Night. We're going to have you back on.
Can we please?
I need to hear
Absolutely.
because I just really want to hear the first, your first experience with it. We like talking about the first time we've seen movies and our experience with that. So I'd love to hear that when we do Fright Night.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. I'm
do it.
so down for that.
What a treat that was. That was amazing. Again, thank you so much, Ian Bender, Ian.Bender on Instagram and all of those socials. Give him a follow. But what a delight he was. And I can't wait to see what happens next for him. We'll be watching. As for Sips and Screams, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Our handle is at Sips and Screams Pod. Please like, rate, and subscribe and or leave a review and or comment. We would love that. And you can also email us at sipsandscreams.podcast@gmail.com. And we're absolutely everywhere where you get your podcasts. Okay, so we already kind of went over some of the plot of the movie in our interview with Ian, but we are going to give a little bit of a deeper dive in the Sips and synopsis. So, Allie, why don't you take it away and tell us about the plot of Undertone?
So excited for this. And spoiler alert, everybody, we are going to go through the whole thing. So if you haven't seen it and you do want to go see it, I'd pause right here, go watch it, and then come back to the episode.
Go to your nearest theater, go watch it, and then come back.
It's incredible.
Spoiler
it's
alert.
90 minutes, everybody, 90 minutes, and it's incredible from beginning to end. Undertone 2026. I think, Ash, this is our most recent movie we've ever done. I mean, this just came out last weekend.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's the most recent.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, the best release date ever.
Absolutely.
And
so smart
I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right from the very beginning, we're introduced to our main protagonist. As we talked earlier, not a lot of people in this movie on screen, right? We've got 2 people on screen, maybe 2 and a third, perhaps. We see the leg of someone at one point, the caretaker. But yeah, 2 people on screen. At the very
who's
beginning.
the leg? Who's the leg?
It's the nurse that comes. I believe
the
it's the
nurse.
nurse.
Oh, right.
Who's coming when Evie's talking about taking care of Mama. And she's just called Mama in this movie. So we've got Evie. We've got Mama, who's effectively on her deathbed, comatose, right? Just breathing and barely eating.
Great acting. Poor Mama.
Yeah. And Evie's living alone in this house with Mama, taking care of her. The scene, the movie opens with a childhood rhyme, Baba Black Sheep. And I got to say, what a great way to open a movie.
So good.
Who knew that children's rhymes were that creepy? And you play those in reverse, even creepier. I thought that was incredibly effective.
Ring Around the Rosie, Baba Black Sheep, all those ones. No, they're scary. They are creepy. The children singing, any group of children singing is automatic creep factor, up to 11. It's creepy.
It is. It's the high pitching. The high pitch. It's something, right?
And all together in unison. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. But I think it's fascinating with this movie, right? Everything's contained within that house. So it's Evie's mother's house. She's there to take care of her in her final days. But we also learn that Evie has a side job. Yeah. You call it that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's really
she hosts a
into it.
podcast. She is. So she hosts a paranormal podcast with her friend Justin, who I guess lives in London. Evie lives on the East Coast somewhere, North America, presumably Toronto.
I think so.
And
it looks like Toronto.
I find it kind of fascinating that they decide to record at 3 a.m. So, she puts her mom to bed. Her mother's not really moving much, right? She's just kind of sleeping in that room, goes downstairs, 3 a.m., has her little podcast set up. 3 a.m. is the witching hour, so it makes sense that they're doing that. I think it's Yeah.
And they do
agreed.
have like a live portion where people can call in. So I guess that makes sense.
I love that. Yeah.
But she's committing to it, staying up till 3. I mean, that's tough.
She is. Well, we learned that she's having trouble sleeping. So since she's been there taking care of her mother, she's also having trouble sleeping. So I guess, yeah, she's up. Why not record a podcast with my friend in London? And Justin's just like, yeah, why not record it before I have to go to work, right? Between what, like 8 and 9 a.m.
I mean,
No,
we couldn't do that because we have, libations with our podcast. But I don't know what my energy would be like before work. Like we're recording it at like 7 a.m. Like you get a very different energy.
I couldn't do that. Yeah. I guess Justin does a pretty good job, but like you're really setting the tone for the day and he's setting it on a really creepy one. But the movie starts, Justin has a new topic for the podcast. Mm-hmm. He's recently received these 10 audio recordings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their podcast, you didn't say the name of it. It is called The Undertone. It has a D in it.
You're right. Okay, you're right. Correct.
And I think it's
apologies,
popular.
Listeners.
I think it's really popular.
Well, they have people listening. They have people calling in. So yeah, I think it is popular. But yeah, so Justin's brought them some content, 10 audio recordings. They're not going to listen to them all this night, right? They're going to listen to them over the series of a few days.
Yeah, but it's so interesting because when we record our podcast, it's like a one shot. You know what I mean? We're not like recording like 10 minutes.
They do it like 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah. I'm like, that's weird.
It is weird.
I think you could last a little longer than 20 minutes on the podcast, but these audio recordings.
Justin's got to get to work.
Oh, he's got to get to work. Right. He's like, I got to go. See you tomorrow night.
But these audio recordings were sent by an anonymous source, and they are recordings that Mike. It's a couple, Mike and Jessa, and the recordings that Mike has taken to basically prove to his wife Jessa of some of the things that she's doing in the middle of the night, effectively. Mm-hmm. Right, so the first clip is weird. She's singing London Bridge in her sleep. So he's recording that, and then I presumably plays it for her the next day, right? And then she's just kind of murmuring some things throughout it as well. We learn too, Justin's learning this. It's not just about the original recording, but if you play them in reverse, it seems like it's signaling something. It's saying things like Mike, kill all. It's saying these really ominous things as well. So there seems like there's a little more to these recordings, and potentially they're opening some sort of portal to something evil.
And it's so interesting when they're doing that because they have these like brain teasers and things you can like there's like reels on Instagram. Once you know what it says, right, and you're like reading it, then you hear it right away. Right, because when they first play the London Bridge one, you didn't hear the Mike kill all thing.
But I did hear it.
You did hear it?
I remember.
Well,
I did hear it.
You're primed.
So I heard it because I remember it, but they didn't say it. But I did hear Mike kill all when they played that in reverse, London Bridge in reverse in the theater. Yeah, I did.
Okay, it took a second for me. I was like, huh? And then okay.
I don't.
But so, like you mentioned, right, they're doing these kind of in 20-minute intervals, I guess. So it's like a little after 3. And I think something that's so effective in this movie is that obviously it's an auditory horror movie. They use sound really well. And when Evie's recording on her laptop and she puts those headphones on, everything else in the house, the sounds stop, right? So the clock ticking on the wall, like the murmurs from the TV or things like that.
It's noise canceling. You're like immersed.
But it's so great. So all you're hearing is the audio. And as Ian said earlier, I think it's so fascinating that she was actually hearing those for the first time. Yeah. Right. The actress who plays Evie. So alongside this, so the movie sort of separated into these 3 a.m.-ish podcast recordings and then what happens during the day. And so Evie's taking care of her dying mother, but she also finds out, she's been throwing up, and she actually finds out that she is 6 weeks pregnant as well.
Yeah. I love. Okay, that's a cliche, and I know we'll talk about cliches later.
Yeah.
Anytime a woman throws up in any movie,
she's pregnant.
Automatically pregnant.
You knew that.
Like you can't have food poisoning or like too much sodium. No. Pregnant.
You'd like to have just too much sodium. But we learned too through this, right, that she recently, I guess, broke up with her boyfriend. I think they're broken up. They're separated. Something. They used to live together, I guess, and now she's been here for some time taking care of her dying mother. Yeah. And even at one point, but Evie's pretty sure she does not want to keep the baby. She calls to make an appointment with the doctor. She goes to the OBGYN, right? And thus he does call her at 3 a.m. to let her know that, yes, she is pregnant.
It's, again, Canadian, politeness perhaps, but that's commitment, calling at 3 a.m. for sure. But maybe one of the cracks in the movie in terms of what's reality and what's not.
Yeah, and I think you'll see it in the movie when you watch it. There's a specific point when I think she's having trouble, Evie's having trouble sleeping, she takes sleeping pills, and you see the camera tilt. And that had to have been a conscious decision by the filmmaker. But it starts to question, and I'm so excited after we get through synopsis to talk about interpretations of this movie, because I think people are interpreting it different ways, which makes it fantastic, right? And probably makes it a rewatchable in that sense as well.
I want to go rewatch it, like having watched it in the theater. And then like reading about it and thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I think I missed some things. I want to go back and rewatch it.
I need to watch it again once it's streaming. I watched this in the theater. I know you did too, Ash, opening weekend. But so, meanwhile, Evie's pregnant, doesn't want to keep it. We know that. Her mother continues to not do much upstairs in her bedroom. And Evie and Justin continue recording it at 3 a.m. in these short intervals. And as we go through the tapes, we learn kind of Jess's voice is becoming kind of even more anxious, I'd say. We hear a baby at some point in it.
Creepy.
Right, so it seems like what's happening in real life is almost being reflected in these audio tapes as well.
Yeah, like the parallels.
There's parallels here. But Justin figures something out, right? And he plays something in reverse, and he learns that there seems to be a message coming from these audio tapes that says, "Come in, Abazu."
Abazu.
Abazu. And who is Abazu, may you ask? Yeah, apparently a
Not
demon
good.
who...
Not a
good
gentle
person.
spirit coming in to bring you warmth
Abazu,
and joy.
Absolutely not. Abazu is bad news, is a demon from folklore, and I guess is associated with miscarriages, kind of goes after pregnant mothers, kills babies.
She was barren, I guess, or couldn't have children. So now she's going to go haunt. No, Abazu. Abazu's going to go
Abazu.
haunt.
Oh, sorry.
Abazu. No, because
Abazu's a woman?
I think it's a woman. It was a woman. Yeah, Abazu is a woman demon. That couldn't have kids.
Do demons have like a sex ash? You tell me.
At one point they did before they became a demon. I think that's like the lore of it. But she couldn't have kids, so then she's going to forever haunt women with children or whatever. There's something going on there with Abazu.
All right, I hear you.
And it is a woman. Yes.
Okay, so it seems like every kind of as we go through these 10 audio recordings, they're getting more and more intense, right? They're kind of waking up in the middle of the night. They're running around. And then, during the day and even at night, things are happening in the house as well. So it's almost like, I don't know, is Abazu now haunting Evie?
Seems like
questions remain, right? Yeah. There's kind of lights flickering. She's having some weird dreams as well. There's a statue that's, I guess, a religious statue that's by her mother's, on the nightstand of her mother's bed. It kind of keeps moving.
Watching.
But yeah, so, again, audiophile is not great. Where I think we're at the ninth one now. So again, the movie moves pretty quickly, right? Mother's still not doing great. Kind of weird things are happening at night. Evie's having some weird dreams. She's still recording with Justin. They're on their 9th file. But they pose a question to listeners to call in if you knew Mike and Jessa. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to find out who these people are. And so when they're recording, next couple nights, they're ready to listen to the 10th one. But before they do so, they get a few calls.
So are they live calls? They're live calls at 3 a.m.
These are live calls when they're recording, yeah. So I guess on the 9th episode, they let them know when they're going to be recording again, whatever, the next night at 3 a.m., and then people call into that.
I feel like we should do a live recording sometime and see people call in at 3 a.m.
I'm 100% down for that. We just have to make a plan. We're recording at this time. Call in and we'll have you on the episode.
You're so vulnerable at 3 a.m. during the witching hour.
Absolutely.
I feel like it was such a vibe. I would love it to record at 3 a.m. I just have to drink some coffee and stay up.
Yeah. All right, you heard it here. Let's do it. We're going to do it. We'll make a plan.
We'll do a live episode from Ian Twasson's house in Toronto.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, I would pay to go do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pay you to do. No, I would pay good money to go spend the night in that house.
Yes.
But yeah, so we are on that kind of final podcast recording episode. 3 people call in. One is a neighbor who says that he knew Mike and Jessa and that they died, right? That they did not survive and that they actually died.
But how did they die?
They were found dead, Ash, with plastic bags over their heads.
Over their head. Plastic bags over their heads. Very important.
Plastic bags, yeah. Okay, and apparently the walls in the house were also covered with drawings of babies.
Just scribbled drawings, like children's scribbles all over the walls of the wallpaper.
That's right. That's correct. And we also learned that Jessa was pregnant when she died. So there wasn't a baby living in the house, but she was actually pregnant when she died.
Like, is this Evie?
Yeah.
Evie's story?
Yeah. Is it? And then there's a second caller who insists on speaking to Mary. And this is significant because you learn earlier in the movie that Evie had mentioned this at some point, that if she were to have a kid, she was going to name it Mary. So again, some of the things that are happening seem to be very closely related to Evie. And then the third call, and probably the most disturbing one, a woman calls about she has this crying baby and the baby won't stop crying, and she's trying to get the baby to stop crying, and asking them, I guess, for some advice on that. And while Evie and Justin are listening, as she's calling in, we hear her presumably kill the baby.
In a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And she hits it up. Very violent, guys.
Up against like a radiator or something. What is it, Ash?
Radiator. Yeah.
You hear it. But again, that audio, that auditory horror is absolutely disturbing in that last call.
It stopped. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is kind of now we're at probably the last couple minutes of this movie, and oh man, are the last couple minutes of this movie absolutely disturbing and terrifying.
Dear God. This movie is absolutely a slow burn, and then
it is a slow burn in the last 5 minutes.
In the last 5 minutes,
So much.
It is worth the wait.
Yeah. But she's even admitting, so they listen to this last recording. I think at this point, there seems to almost be a break in Evie, right? And she starts sort of freaking out. And I guess they listened to that last recording. I think even in the 10th recording, we hear Justice say, "Come in, Abazu," right? So it seems like it's elevated even more. And at this point, it's almost like Evie's reached a breaking point. She's freaking out. She's asking Justin for help. She's running around her house. The TV's on with this really creepy image of that they talked about earlier in the movie. All of a sudden, the podcast material's not there. Everything's in disarray in this house. She'd been drawing this demon figure, I guess, with crayons the whole time. She runs upstairs. There's now things all over the stairs. A doll that was mentioned earlier in the recording is actually in the kitchen. She goes up to check on her mother. And I'm trying to remember all this because I, again, watched it in the theater. Yeah. The bed that her mother's been sleeping in this whole time, neatly made up, right? Neatly made up. Yeah. Mama is not there. She goes into the bathroom, but Mama comes up from behind her and is standing there in the bathroom. And
in this whole scene, there's as if it wasn't creepy enough, there's a strobe light. It's going in and out of these scenes of cutting back to a woman being suffocated with a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it goes back and forth. It is very disturbing. You're like, what the hell is going on?
And you're meant to, I think, what the hell is going on, right? And kind of the last thing you see is, Evie's mother, right, coming towards her, and then it goes to black.
Backwards.
But you hear her backwards, walking backwards. But you hear, she's crying for Justin. She's cold. And then it goes to black. And that's the end of the movie.
Well, she's also saying, "Come in, Abazu." Very creepily, and over and over again. And you're like,
Yeah. So it leaves you with that at the end of this movie. Yeah. But, I have a lot of thoughts, but that is Undertone. It is a slow burn. It certainly ends pretty intense. Lots to break down in this. Not many people in this movie. Most of them were audio actors, as we heard from Ian. But I can't wait to talk about interpretation, Ash. I've been waiting all week for this.
I'm so excited. And where did we both watched it in the theater. What was your theater experience like? Because mine was super weird. What was yours like?
Mine was also kind of weird. So I actually watched this I think I went to a 12 o'clock matinee. I went early. You know what? I was so excited to see this movie that I could not wait any longer. So I think I saw it at on a Saturday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
There was probably me and 20 other people there. Not a lot of people are going to see matinees. At the theater I go to. It was great. I had my little popcorn. I had a glass of wine. I loved every second of it. Yeah.
So I went also a matinee at 4 p.m. at the AMC.
Okay.
Down the
street. You didn't do a 12 p.m. Yeah.
I didn't, but I had to go to the AMC because they weren't showing it at my cute little artsy theater. Because I guess this I mean, rightfully so. The sound there is horrible. So I went to the bigger theater.
They were only showing it at places with good sound. Yeah.
And there was no one at the theater. I get my little glass of wine. I go in and this is what made it so creepy. I was texting you. I go in and I knew you have to buy your seats beforehand. I'm like, I think I'm the only one there. And I go in.
That's crazy.
I thought I was the only one there, but I wasn't. There was this older gentleman up at the back And like, I feel so bad for being like kind of scared of him because he probably just wanted to watch the movie. You know what I mean?
He may have been scared of you.
But maybe he was scared of me. But I go in, we're at opposite ends of the theater, and I kind of had him in my periphery, but I'm like, well, this is creepy. Like, what if he's coming to this movie to like murder me? You know, like those are like the thoughts going through your head. This poor guy. This poor man. And
he's just like enjoying his popcorn and like really wanted to see Undertone.
He had popcorn. He had like glasses on, this man, but he was by himself too. And I'm like, but I was by myself.
You were also by yourself. There were about 10 of us by ourselves watching this movie. Like, no shame in that. I will go see movies by myself.
I'm judging him. I'm sure he's judging me. But he's behind me. So I'm just kind of like, so I was so happy when this couple came in and sat behind me. Like, I'm telling you, I was like, okay, good. I feel like safer. And then this theater was empty. So it was the four of us. And then I had my feet up on the seat in front of me because I'm like, I'm going to get comfy. And then this other guy comes and sits right there. Like, what are the odds?
Oh, no.
So
did you not have a recliner, Rush?
No.
What kind of movie theater were you in?
AMC. I don't know. It was comfortable.
Oh.
It wasn't a recliner. But then that guy in front of me left like halfway through. I guess he couldn't take it. I don't know. But he left. So it was just the four of us.
It was too much for him?
It was too much for him. He left.
Do you know my story? I actually did see the recent Exorcist movie completely by myself.
By yourself.
I was the only one there.
I was looking
and they came in like halfway through thinking there was no one in the theater. I was like, oh, someone is in here. I'm like, yes, I bought a ticket.
Cleaning up or turn the lights on.
And they come in and just scare the hell out of me. Me just sitting there with my popcorn, like so excited to watch this movie. And I think they were going to stop playing it because they thought no one was in. They're like, oh, you. I'm like, yes. I'm like, me. Yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it very much. I was okay. It's creepy watching a movie in a theater like that by yourself, though.
Creepier when there's like someone else, like one other person, like where
I want to hear his perspective. I wish we could have him on. What did you think of that? This girl walks in. She's like, she was staring at me. Maybe
in my periphery. I'm sorry. Anyhow. Okay. So there's some behind the scenes. You know, it was so fun having Ian on. He gave us a ton of behind the scenes insight and like casting process and all of that. But we talked about like Ian Twasson, it was his childhood home. And the movie was actually based on his personal experiences. So during COVID, he actually moved into his parents' home in Toronto, which I guess he still lives in. And it's really sad. So they both had cancer. They both had terminal cancer. And his mom died, I think, a few months later when he moved in. And then his father died a few years later, a year and a half later. And he was writing, he was drinking a lot. And, you know, you kind of see that in the actual screenplay. And he first wrote this as an audio. Like he thought it would be like almost like a recording where people were kind of analyzing like creepy audio files. And then he added the other parts later where he turned it into a screenplay about the lone caregiver and kind of explored, you know, some of the things of that. And he thought that he'd have to do it independently, like produce it independently, film it. And then it was bought, as Ian said, bought by A24. So they bought it. And it was filmed on a super low budget, filmed in Toronto in his childhood home. The production designer, you know, added all that creepy decor that we were talking about.
The production designer for this movie was amazing.
Amazing. It looked...
The religious decor, everything.
Yeah, the religious stuff and like the older... What you might expect like an older like religious woman to kind of have in her home. It was so good. Mm-hmm. And then the lighting, we talked about the lighting with Ian, but like the downstairs was like, you know... a little warmer, right? Like the colors, and upstairs was like
upstairs was
creepy,
cold,
like blue,
like death,
cold and death,
fluorescent lighting.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about the significance. It came out on Friday the 13th, right? March 13th is when it came out, and that actually is a significant date to Ian because that was his dad died on the
director Ian's
dad passed away on the 13th, so that was kind of the significance for him. And another little tidbit, so the drawings, the drawings in this movie, the crayon drawings, the drawings on the wall, the drawings that Evie's making right throughout the movie, they were actually based on Ian, the director Ian Twasson, his nephew's drawings. So I guess they had given them to like the art department. And they were based on
He drew them, Ash? Or
his nephew. Yeah, his nephew.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Based on stuff that his nephew had drawn.
Oh, okay.
So they have that like childlike quality. Yeah, I was like, how creepy is this kid? But kids always draw creepy stuff, right? And that's a cliche,
I'm here
definitely.
for it.
And this was actually Ian Twasson's first feature, right? His first like feature film. He did a lot of horror shorts, and you can see some of them on YouTube. One of them is called 3 a.m., which is like super creepy. They like set up a camera and they film some stuff around that. And some like major celebrities have shared it as well. But he's always kind of like been really interested in horror. So this is his first feature. And guess what's next for him? I'm so excited. a Paranormal Activity reboot. That is his next movie. And we are here for it.
Whoa.
We're going to
completely here for it.
My goal is to get him on the pod for the Paranormal Activity reboot. We have the Canadian connection. We're going to try to make it happen. Okay, it is time for 3-sentence sips, where we try to, you know what, give a 3-sentence synopsis of the movie of Undertone. We did Lake Mungo, so it's my turn. My turn to come up with a 3-sentence synopsis of this movie. 3-sentence sips, if you will.
Yeah.
And I have one. Okay, here's mine. I'm going to read it to you. Mama is sick. I must leave my man-child boyfriend to go home and care for her. Man, this is harder than I thought. Let's pour myself into my horror podcast with my creepy friend Justin to escape. Oops. Accidentally listened to all 10 of those scary audio files that were sent to us, and now Mama is possessed and might have killed me and my unborn child. The end. The end. That is my 3-sentence
I love it.
tips.
And I love that you did what I did. Like, you can kind of like put a lot into one sentence. Like, think of the punctuation, you know?
Like
that,
hyphenates.
So good.
I'm dashes.
Very good. And you like using the oops too. Listeners, let us know what you think. Give us your 3-sentence sips for Undertone. We cannot wait to hear.
Okay, it is time for Screamometer. All right, Allie, what have you got? What have you got for this one? What's your rating?
Yes. Okay. I'm very excited about this one. You know, seeing it in the theater, I think you definitely get that sort of visceral reaction to it. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, when I came home that night, I felt like okay after watching it. And then that night, falling asleep, I was alone in my house. A little difficult for me. So I think originally when I saw it, I had a certain rating. Based on my experience later that night and the fact that I was very creeped out to go to sleep, I'm giving Undertone a 9 out of 10, which is very high for me. That is up there. Woo. That is up there, you know, in the ranks of, you know, getting close to Paranormal Activity for me. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Undertone did it. Stays with you. I think it was a fantastic movie and an amazing horror movie.
Yeah. Wow. That is very high for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was an amazing movie. Very slow burn, right? It didn't quite have the ramp up that Paranormal Activity had for me. It was really, for me, the ending was this movie. I'm like, the ending, I was like, what the F was that? Like, it was so good. But similar in terms of the slow burn for Blair Witch Project. In terms of staying with me, like I was definitely disturbed. I guess I wasn't scared. I didn't like have nightmares or anything like that. I didn't like see any of the visuals, but I think that's because it was the audio, right? So because it was the audio, I was less scared, I suppose. If there's like a visual that I can hold on to, then I'm going to definitely have nightmares and things like that. Right, which is why Paranormal is so creepy to me with some of the things that were happening. I'm giving it, I thought it was amazing, like absolutely amazing movie. In terms of the Screamometer, I'm giving it a 7. And that's mainly because of the ending.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's interesting. I think I left the theater and I was like, oh, that's an 8 out of 10 for me. And just the fact that I couldn't sleep very well that night elevated it. Of course, I was alone. Kurt husband was traveling. I was alone. And just every little creak, every little thing I heard in the house, like, that was terrifying that night. So
it's still disturbing you. You heard like a door thing and you were like,
it is. It's still getting me. It's still getting me.
It's good. I mean, I think it started something new, right? With the audio. Like, I can't think of another movie that kind of would just focus really on the audio. Although there are some.
I can think of one. Okay. Yeah, I can think of one that I want to talk about in cliches.
Cliches and rebuffs. Okay, fine. Yeah. It was fantastic. Everyone needs to go see it, and I would recommend seeing it in the theater. But I actually want to rewatch it. You know what I want to do?
No,
I want to watch it at home. I want to
rewatch it.
I want to watch it at 3 a.m. and I just want to experience it myself, the whole thing, and just be immersed. And I want to experience it at home. I think my rating will go up. It is time for Sip and Tell, where we discuss our personal experiences related to the content of the movie. What have you got for Undertone, Al?
I mean, well, number one, Ash, podcast. I did love how the podcast piece.
We have it.
Us. No, I love how they were talking about saving things for the pod and about recording the intro and outro. That was like so funny for me and like really hit home. But the audio piece of it, when you put me just experiencing that just right now that we actually got on camera, so we'll have to show that as a reel.
Yes.
But you know, when you put these headphones on, you can't hear anything else, right? So if you do hear or see something, it's very jarring. So obviously that, but I think the other one, and I alluded to this earlier, but the clock ticking, and hearing that, and kind of how loud it can be. And I know this. So current husband had a clock in his bathroom, and it would be outside of my office, and you would hear that clicking and that sound. It was so interesting to me. At some point I had to ask him to take it down. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Right? Like, not only was it annoying, but it was creepy when you were home alone. I don't know. He wanted a clock in the bathroom, and it made a lot of noise. Okay. But that sound, that tick, tick.
Yeah.
Tick, the synchronicity of it was that hit home for me. And what a cool use of sound too for a horror movie. I love that they did that. And when she put her noise canceling headphones on, that it took that away.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I completely felt that was such a good use of sound, and that's a really scary one for me. So I love that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There were so many things she was just kind of trying to escape. Even her putting in the noise canceling was like a whoop, and everything was like quiet.
It was a bit
scary.
Yeah.
Right? That was creepy. In terms of the podcast,
and it was,
like, it's so funny watching a film about a horror podcast, because we have a horror like recap podcast, and like me and Allie will literally watch a film and we won't talk about it. Like, we'll call nope,
won't.
Save it for the podcast, because I want your original reaction. We do not talk about it until we actually do the pod. So that rang true for me.
We have not talked about Undertone yet, everyone. This is the first time we've talked about this movie, and we both saw it last weekend.
So one thing, is it my bone to pick? When they were like, oh, hey, let's
Ash always has a bone to pick.
So Evie was the skeptic, Justin was the believer, and they're like, hey, let's get into character. I'm like, we actually don't have characters, me and Allie. I'm like, this is just like our personalities. I tend to be a little more believing. Allie tends to be a little more skeptic, although sometimes that changes. That was the only like bone to pick I really had. I'm like, are you really, like, your personality seemed like it was the same. Like, what are you getting into character for? You're just like being more professional.
Evie seems skeptical in real life. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
Okay, so my sip and tell, just kind of like the witching hour. We talked about that in previous podcasts, the 3 a.m., waking up at 3 a.m. You know how many times that has happened to me? It's mainly to go to the bathroom to pee, to be honest. But that has happened to me. Ian said that happened to him a lot, like during the movie, which is so creepy. But
that is so creepy.
You know what? Now when I wake up, I do not look at my clock. I don't want to remember how many hours I have left to sleep. I just want to be able to sleep. That's like a sleep hygiene thing. But what if it's only like
20 minutes?
No, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know, because then I could just like fall back asleep. Don't look at your clock when you wake up. Just like
that is smart.
Do your thing and like go back to bed.
I'm bad about that.
But the times that I have looked at it, it usually is 3 a.m., which is just it's just kind of creepy. And it happens to a lot of people. The other kind of sip and tell is that house, man. That house with like the stairs and the wallpaper. How many friends did we have that like had that house? Like we grew up in a bungalow. We had some friends that had that. Our friend Amy had one of those houses.
She did.
Like, almost
she
exact
did have
same
a house
house
like
with
that.
the wallpaper and the stairway. And not that her house was haunted or anything, but it just reminded me of that like old school house that was
so well done.
Yeah, reminiscent of the times, I suppose. And then clocks, man, those ticking clocks, those were such a thing. And everything now, you know, we don't really have that. But
it's
that was
digital. No, it is so interesting. We kind of lost some of that, because everything's digital now. But we used to have that grandfather clock, Ash.
Yeah.
In our living room growing up, which was great.
And I always thought like, yes, the grandfather clock, dong, dong. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And you wake up in the middle of the night, like, what time is it? Oh, it rang 3 times. It's 3 a.m., the witching hour. The other thing with wallpaper is so interesting. And like, if you tore back the wallpaper, I always like even growing up, like, what's behind it? You know what I mean? I was always kind of freaked out by like, what would be behind it? Maybe it was Abazu, what's her name? Drawings, Abazu, drawings of like what was behind there. We don't really know. So we need to tear those up and see what's behind there to get to the bottom of this. Okay, it is time for Sips and Scares. Allie, you gave it a 9 out of 10. I gave it a 7. Let's dissect the scariest parts of this movie. We have a laundry list.
Yeah. We do, but I will say, I think for me, what made it a 9 was the overall tone of this movie.
Atmosphere.
That sense of dread. Yeah, the atmosphere, that sense of dread every time she was recording, and the way she would look around. So the way when they were recording, she was a skeptic, but almost became more and more of a believer throughout the movie, right? And so they would start doing the pod, and she'd be looking around, and you just were sort of, the way they framed it, you were always kind of looking to the side, like something in the frame. And so just the whole movie is making you incredibly anxious. So I think that, number one, like, huge for me. Obviously the scene with Mama getting up in bed. So there was the statue of the Virgin Mary, and it kept moving from the nightstand even after Evie had put it in the closet. And so she sees it on the nightstand. She goes to put it back in the closet, and it's out of focus. But you see Mama start to move up in bed, right? And she has not moved at this. And I will say, I gotta say this, in my theater, there are probably about 20 people in there, gasped.
Yes, same.
I put my hands in front of my face. We were all gasping at that moment together in unison. Absolutely terrifying. Obviously
It's subtle.
the last 2 minutes of this movie, when it kind of everything unravels and she goes upstairs and you're seeing all that, incredibly terrifying. But the audios themselves, like the baby crying, the audio of like Mike being worried about Jessa, all of that stuck with me. I think from beginning to end, this movie just had that sense of dread that didn't leave you. And it didn't leave me even hours after I watched it.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, I gave it a 9.
I think, and you talked about the way it was framed, because it was so good. When Evie's downstairs, you think you're safe, and then they kind of frame it where she's just barely in the frame, and then it's the hallway or like the dining room in the back, and then all of a sudden, Mama appears. Like she appears.
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
It's like
but this is the one where she's dreaming. That's the one where she's dreaming, right? There's one where it ends up being
one of them she's dreaming, but another one, maybe. But who knows what's reality and what's not? But I'm talking about scary points. It goes over and like she's in the background, like just like her figure, and you really got to kind of look. But the way it's framed, it's making you look there, kind of like Lake Mungo. So creepy. It was like a very subtle like ghost demon, but I think it is the Mama. I don't know. The audio in general was disturbing. I thought Justin, his whole audio, I'm like, why? Like it's creepy. It's like quiet pauses, and the way he's like, are you drinking again? Like the way he's like asking the questions, everything that's happening, it's creepy.
Yes.
I'm like, are you in on this? Like, why are you so creepy?
It sounds like, he sounds like, is he Abazu? Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that.
I had the mother standing up or sitting up in bed, was like, what? That was like,
we were
so
all
creepy.
gasping. Like I did. I like curled up and I was like, oh my God, because you didn't know what was going to happen.
But I thought
it was really just kind of that blurry thing. But
the ending, when it cuts back to presumably the mother like getting suffocated, it keeps cutting back to that. That was so creepy. And then at the end, when she's up in the room and the mother's like has her back towards her in the bathroom, she starts coming out like backwards, like stepping out backwards. That was terrifying. Come on. That was so creepy. But similar to Lake Mungo, when we were talking about the audio, right? Just them playing the audio and Evie's listening to it, so you're kind of listening along with her, but you're thinking of things. You have to come up with the images in your head, and it's very creepy. Right? And then they match it to the house, right? They're like, oh, something's at the faucet, something's like coming down the stairs, right? There's that really scary scene where the camera's like coming down the stairs, and it's like matching the audio, and it's creepy as hell.
Oh yeah, almost like someone's going through the house.
It almost felt like it was the house that these recordings were. I mean, so Ian shared with us that actually was the house where the recordings were made, so that kind of makes sense having that background insight. But very, very creepy, and definitely worth a rewatch. Like it's just, I want to unpack it more. It was like just watching the first hour and a half. I'm like, because you're left with this like. It's very visceral, very like the ending is insane. You're kind of left like, oh my God, right? You want to rewatch it, knowing the information.
But I had my own thoughts throughout it, right? And I'm very excited to talk about it with you about interpretation, because I'm like I'm secure on my thoughts of this movie, and I think there's only one way it can be.
Okay, well we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Okay, we're moving on to cliches and ripoffs. We've got some in this movie. Okay, what are the cliches? What did it rip off? I mean, it's 2026, so we can't really say what ripped off it, but
let's yet anyway.
Let's get in there. I mean, number one, Blair Witch.
Session 9.
Oh.
I love we both had different interpretations.
Okay.
I mean, Session 9.
Okay. Session 9, yes, with the audios, yes.
9 sessions, not 10.
Oh, yeah.
But they get Session 9 walked so Undertone could run. You know what I mean? Like with that auditory horror. Okay. Because I mean, you remember those episodes?
No, like it's so fun. I didn't have it like written down here, but I was like, what's the movie? I'm like, we covered it.
And I think it also. So we talked about Session 9, and I think also my interpretation of the movie is probably fed into because of Session 9.
Yes.
But Session 9, 100%. They go through 9 auditory tapes. It culminates at the end. They get more and more intense.
Maybe Phil wasn't real, you know?
Yeah. Oh, we're going to get back in that. Was Phil real or not? Yeah. Phil was real. But Session 9, I think another one, Smile, I have written down.
Yes.
I think I didn't speak much about it during synopsis, but one of the ones they had covered on their paranormal podcast on the Undertone earlier was about this video that you watch, and then basically it attacks you or you die right after watching it. Very Ring coded.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Ring.
And
It's
then
more
we
like
see
The
that.
Ring, Al.
Yeah.
Because Smile.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
But fair enough. But yeah, those two for me 100%. But Session 9 is absolutely number one. I hear what you're saying about Blair Witch.
Yes. So, obviously I had The Ring because I think he even said like you watched this video and it was a creepy video of a woman smiling, so it was like Smile, but like you died 7 days after watching it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we didn't. Oh, it's
Yeah, it was
we didn't
like-
talk about that because when she goes to the ending and she's like that
on the
weird image
screen.
is now on her TV screen, right? And she's like staring at it, and the mouth keeps getting like bigger, like so creepy. Blair Witch because it's such a slow burn in the last like few minutes.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
The ending of this one is much more. There's much more happening than at Blair Witch. Blair Witch kind of leaves you with just like the guy in the corner, but the last few minutes of this are just like an assault on the senses, every sense, visually, auditorily. Like it's so good.
Agreed. I love that.
What's happening?
It is.
So good. I got to bring it up again. Who knew Skinamarink was going to be so influential?
I was gonna say Skinamarink. I wanted to ask Ian about Skinamarink. Actually,
Yeah.
he must know about it. It's a Canadian filmmaker. Yeah.
We'll have to DM him and ask him about it.
Yeah.
Presents. When they film down the stairs, there's all those things where it's like the camera's going through the house.
Yes.
And kind of like Halloween
very
too,
similar to
like where they're filming it. And I love that because it's the auditory thing and then they're filming it alongside it. Like so good.
So you have something to go along with it. Like you're not just listening to it, but you actually have the visual that creeps you out. Yes.
And so you talked about Session 9. Yes, 100%. Like I can't even believe I didn't have that written down.
How did you not?
I don't know.
I thought for sure you were going to say that because it's completely Session 9 coded.
When we recorded Session 9, I like had the flu, so maybe I like forgot some of it. Like I was so sick when we recorded that episode. If you listen to it, I'm very stuffed up. Sixth Sense. Right, so they're listening to the audio and then they turn it up because a lot of this, like they have the audio and they're let me just go to the bump and let me turn it up, let me reverse it because a lot of it they have to like take the audio tapes and reverse it and then listen to it and then you get the message. So it reminded me of Sixth Sense a little bit because they're like, what's that in the background? And then they turn it up, they hear the message from the ghost.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity, obviously, right? And everything happening at 3 a.m., the witching hour, everything's, once it's nighttime, you're like scared.
The stairway, kind of everything about that, yeah.
Yes. And Sinister, right? The possession, all the stuff written on the walls. It's very like Sinister.
Oh, yeah.
And the videotapes. It was kind of like, this is like the audio version, I guess, of Sinister because they find the tapes and all the stuff that had happened. We need to do
rewatch
Sinister.
Sinister.
I'm kind of scared. We have to do Sinister. That movie is so scary. We need to redo
it.
So good. And it was pretty original. And then, so there's lots of talk, so much talk on this movie. Like it's everywhere and everyone's dissecting it. Hereditary, people are really comparing it to Hereditary because we'll talk about the ending, but like in the themes of the movie, the grief part, right? So she was grieving her mother. She was grieving like the decision that she had to make about her unborn child. And just kind of that like horror aspect or horror interpretation, I guess the theme of like dealing with grief. So Hereditary, that's what it is, right? I'm sure we'll do that at some point. But just kind of that darkness and the unrelenting dread that you mentioned, right, in this movie. It's very akin to Hereditary as well. Okay, it's time for alternate endings. Now, I'm going to spoil it and say that there are not any alternate endings to this movie.
Ash.
Okay.
I'm always disappointed in you when there are none.
Me,
Like
'cause
it's your fault.
I should have made an alternate ending. But what I want to do, take this opportunity to talk about the ending and the interpretations of this movie. Because... Again, a lot of chatter online. I want to talk to you because apparently you have a definitive interpretation of this movie. What do you think about that ending? How are we supposed to leave? How are we supposed to think about this movie?
Okay. I mean, the whole thing represents her just falling into psychosis, right? None of it's real.
Yeah.
I don't think Justin's real. The podcast isn't real. The mother's already dead.
Yeah.
She's living in that house. She's the one who's been drawing on the walls the whole time. And it's grief, it's guilt for what she did, right? So I believe that none of it was real. Mm-hmm. I think literally everything in the movie was just grief and guilt that she had, and we're just seeing that play out. So that's my interpretation of the movie. And I think the reason I think that too, at the end, when she's going through, there is no there's no headphones, there are no computer or laptop on the thing anymore. It's just her drawings of some demon that she's been drawing. You even see like that toy in the kitchen, kind of everything's in disarray. The mother's bed isn't really there. So I think it's all in her head. I don't think none of these people are actually real. So that's my interpretation of the movie. And I love that actually about it. For me, that makes it work. Like Abazu, like none of that's real. I don't believe there's an entity, but I'd love to hear what you think, Ash. That's what I think.
So, okay. I think that's one interpretation. A lot of people do agree with that because at the end, the podcast stuff goes away and it goes right to the living room where there's just a chair set up next to the TV and it's that creepy smile video that we showed.
She's been like she's been
watching
going
it and going into
psychosis.
psychosis. Okay, so that's one interpretation. The other interpretation is that it is real because I grappled with that as well. I'm like, Justin doesn't seem real, but he's in London and like she talks about like visiting him. Right. So it seems like he's kind of real. The other interpretation is that like it is actually like a demon possession and it possesses the mother. Right. And the whole thing is when she becomes pregnant and kind of starts becoming more skeptic, that's when like it kind of lets Abazu in. And
she goes after like pregnant mothers.
Yeah. So like who knew? The biggest thing is like who sent those audio files, right? So you think that whole thing was not real?
The audio files were real.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all in her head. Yeah. I don't think, I think it was like her. I think effectively Jess and Mike were her and her ex-boyfriend Darren, right? And she's just she's creating this and create it in her head. So because everything is too similar. There's too similar to her.
I want to think that. And the whole thing was just kind of in her head. But like the mother at the end, there is that like vision of the mother and the vision of her, of someone killing the mother. I thought that was the demon.
I think she killed her mother.
Oh, you think she killed her mother?
No. I think she killed her mother. She says it at the end, right? When she's talking to Justin, that she killed her mother. And there's different interpretations of that like she basically put her mother into a coma because she wouldn't go to church and things. Oh, I think she killed her mother. I think she suffocated her mother. She killed her. And what we're seeing is her vision from when it happened.
So what does she do with the body? What was that thing at the end? What was that thing at the end?
I do not know.
So I
think
that was
just in her mind.
I wanted to believe that. I'd love it when it's like not real. I love that. Like, you know me with Phil. I'm like,
Session 9 again. I'm like very Session 9, like where he was the bad guy the whole time. Yeah.
No, but I was like, Phil wasn't real, but I took the opposite approach of this. I'm like, no, I actually think it is. And like it infiltrated when she listened to the 10th, because it was like, oh, you shouldn't have listened to the 10th audio tape. And it's like the demon's like possessing her all of a sudden. I guess we don't know when the kind of possession started, but it looked like she started to get possessed as she delved deeper into listening to the audio tapes. Right. So at the end, like, I don't know if she wrote that or it was just like the demon, like Abazu, like that's just what happens, when you let them in, like all that stuff kind of appears on your wall. And for me though, I would agree, but the fact that we saw like the mother, we saw an entity in the bathroom that looked like the mother. I thought the mother became possessed.
It was just in her head.
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the mother was ever there. I think she killed her at some point. Like she was comatose. I'm not saying she like did it, I think the mother was on her deathbed already, but I think she did suffocate her. I think everything we were seeing was like, Evie was an unreliable narrator and we were seeing things through her perspective. But yeah, I don't
think she was unreliable, but I don't know if everything was necessarily like not real. I think there was a break at some point, but
you see the camera tilt, right?
You do.
I would have loved. I know we couldn't do spoilers or anything, but it'd be fascinating to hear. And maybe like the director of this writer was really to leave it up to your own imagination, right? Like your own interpretation of it. But you certainly see the camera tilt, and from then on, like things change.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from our listeners too. Like, what did you think? What was this movie? For me, it just makes sense that it was psychosis. None of it was real, but and the fact that for me, it was the fact that none of the podcast equipment existed at the end. Yeah. It was just all in her head.
But there were some weird time jumps happening right at the end. Like it was 3:00 and then it went to like 2:40.
It went back. Yeah.
I agree that that's one interpretation. I don't necessarily think that that's it's not the only one. Obviously there's other things happening.
It's not. There's many.
I think it's definitely setting this up for potentially a prequel. I think they're going to take it further. I hope they do.
I would love a prequel.
Or a sequel. We actually didn't see Evie die. Right. No, so we don't know that she's dead.
Screaming.
We hear her screaming, but she was also kind of crazy. So we don't know if that was real or not.
Yeah.
You could. Yeah. I think they left it open to potentially a sequel and definitely open to interpretation. That's what makes this movie like so brilliant.
Ash, what if they did one where it was on Justin's side?
Yeah.
And it's in London and we see it from Justin's perspective? That'd be amazing.
That'd be good. Yeah. Because the whole time I thought the same as you. And then I'm like, no, there's too much stuff that happened at the end. And then Justin's there. She's like, Justin, help me. Like, I don't know if it's like that far where there were that many like hallucinations happening. Okay. It is time for the villain. Who is the villain of this movie? I have my villain.
Ash, I think you need to go first on this one.
My villain.
You always, pull it to me, but I'd love to hear what you think.
Well, I mean, I think we have different interpretations of the movie. So my villain for this was the co-host, Justin. He brought these audio files
Really?
to her. Yes. He brought these audio files. I immediately
think Justin's
clocked
real,
it.
so.
Yeah, well, you don't think he's real, like Phil. Like I didn't think Phil was real, and he was real. So I think he's the villain. If he never brought these audio files to her, then none of this would have happened. So 100% the villain, Justin.
Well, if you're going to go that way, then I think it's the person that sent the files.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's gotta
was
be
that
the
not
villain at this
Justin?
point. Oh, do you think Justin created them and sent them?
I do. I like to think that he's like the conspirator of this whole thing.
See, as someone who thinks that everything was in Evie's head, it's hard for me to choose a villain. So the only person that could be a villain, I guess, was Evie herself.
Okay, so I have a
creating it, or maybe
question.
mental health. Like it's tough, right? I think she was on some medications. Maybe the medications is the villain is creating all this. It's tough for me, but my interpretation of the movie makes it tough to choose a villain.
So was she actually not pregnant? What about her boyfriend? 'Cause she talks on the phone to him.
No, I think she was. I think so. I think that the audio recordings that she was listening to, her and Justin were listening to, and I use air quotes on that, were just her experience. I think she was pregnant. I think Mike and Jessa were her and Darren, right? And she's just reliving that in her head. She was pregnant, lost the baby. Maybe she killed Darren. I don't know. But I think that was her past. There was too much similarity between that, or maybe she did have a baby and she killed it,
Well,
and then she
did
was sort of
leave.
reliving that grief.
She went to that party that night and arrived the next morning.
She did.
Maybe she killed
She
Darren
did.
then.
Maybe she did. She may have. But yeah, I think based on how you interpret this movie, you're going to think the villain very differently.
I think so. There's a lot of holes. Like it's not necessarily plot holes. There's things that were left out that we don't know. We're like left up to your interpretation. So we need another movie.
A lot of it
we need
is.
an Undertone
We do.
too. So you're
Give
thinking
us a prequel. Give us a sequel.
Okay,
Give us
so my question: you don't think the podcast was real at all? The Undertone was not real.
I do not.
Okay.
I think the podcast was just part of her psychosis, how she dealt with things. I don't think Justin was real. I don't think anything. I think she was living in that house by herself.
Yeah.
Descending into madness. Yes.
Okay. And you think she suffocated her mother?
I think it's possible.
Okay. I just don't know.
Ash, I do.
Like the doctor.
She says she killed her mother. She makes a statement about
But the nurse is there at one point.
Yeah, but that also could be in her head. Again, Evie's an unreliable narrator.
Okay.
We're seeing everything she sees. Right?
I think that's the easy way out. I think there's something else going on here.
You think Abazu is real. And
I hope that they're setting up something like of a franchise, Undertone 2. I want the
might.
prequel. I want to know about the religious mom. I want to know everything. I want to know about Justin.
It's
I want
going to become the next Conjuring.
I want to know about the man-child boyfriend. Like, what's his perspective? Give us a note. Ian Twasson, let's go. Write another one. We need to know. The listeners want to know. Okay, it is time for Sips and Simmering Questions, where we answer questions sent in from our listeners on various social media platforms. We have some this week. People were very excited about us doing this movie. And Allie, you have the questions, don't you?
I do. We have two questions we're going to answer this week. The first one, I want to shout out the Nightclub podcast asked us this question. And I think this is very on point with the conversation we've just been having, Ash. The question is, do you think anyone else not shown on screen was real or the entity playing tricks?
Well,
and I think you know my response to that. I mean, Nightclub podcast, I want to hear what you think on this too. I don't think the entity was the thing at all. I think all of this was in her head. So I think nothing we saw was real. Evie was the only character in this movie, and everything we were seeing was part of her descent into psychosis. So I'd say nothing. But Ash, what do you think? As someone who believes in the entity, believes what we saw was real, what do you think?
So I'm primed by Blair Witch, right? So I guess you could take the interpretation. We haven't done Blair Witch yet. At the end of it all just being in their head, and they're just like too far in it, and they believe it.
But I don't think that about Blair Witch.
Okay, but so if you don't think that about Blair Witch, then that's why I'm primed for this movie. I'm like, oh, it was real. There is an entity. Because I was thinking that. And then the last 5 minutes, you're like, oh my God, there's stuff happening. Like the mom's possessed, all these things.
No, but what
I
about
thought
the
she was real.
podcast? What about, and the
I think there was a
clean bed?
time jump. I don't think it was necessarily like the same time, and the clock was like kind of going back and forward, you know? So maybe the podcast equipment, there was another point in the movie where she was doing it like somewhere else and the camera was kind of going around. So maybe she just like put it away. I think it was, I think it actually was real. There was an entity and was like a haunting, and her like chanting the Abazu thing. I think it actually was real. But yeah, we had two different interpretations. I need to go rewatch it, but listeners, let us know what you think as well.
Yeah. All right. The second question comes at us from Michael Myers. I love this one too, because I think he wrote this very specifically. What non-horror sound would send you? So I think that's would creep you out. What non-horror sound?
Okay,
would
that's
creep you out?
like a loaded question, because if I'm going to be creeped out, like I like assign it to horror. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
think of it as
But
horror.
it doesn't have to be someone screaming. Like for me, one thing is phone ringing in the middle of the night, right? And that doesn't necessarily need to be horror.
Yeah.
But I'm saying old school phone ringing. Like that one was on the side of your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Right?
Ring.
Like that.
Like
yeah.
Skinnamaring. The Skinnamaring phone.
The skin. Oh man, that Skinnamaring phone. For
One
those of you who've seen
scare and
Skinnamaring,
Skinnamaring.
you know what we're talking about. There was one scare and
If you
one scare
know, you
only,
know.
and it is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Creepy
But phone in
phone.
the middle of the night for me.
I had phone ringing any time of day. It doesn't have to be middle of the night. If my phone rings, I am immediately creeped
You're like,
out.
why is someone calling me? Why are you texting?
Like why? Like I have my ringer off. So
But
if,
middle of
like,
the
if
night,
I
like,
turn
it's
it on,
different.
of course. But any time of day, I'm like, just text me. I don't want to answer the phone. I do not want to hear my phone ring.
No.
So my other guess, I guess it's non-horror. Any knock on the door or doorbell.
Oh God!
I guess it's the
Doorbell.
same. It's the
Doorbell.
same as like your phone. What is happening? Are you cold calling my house? And I get a lot of it now. And it'll just like and I have like a camera. I'm like, what? And I I turn the camera. I'm like, who is it? Like, I'm not expecting anyone. One time it's always so.
We're never expecting anyone.
Like I was like
random
Girl
person.
Guide cookies, and I'm like, okay. It's
Girl
always
Scout
someone trying
cookies
to
in
like
the US,
Girl
Ash.
Scout. Okay, someone trying to like sell you stuff. I don't know, or just like I don't know. No, you know what? It's never Uber Eats because like I'm like just leave it. Like I just leave it. Do not ring the doorbell.
Sometimes though, when it's raining, like recently this happened, and they were so lovely, and they waited for me to come to the door because they did not want to like leave it and get the rain all over it. Wait, I have another one though. I just thought of it.
Okay.
The ice cube making machine on the refrigerator.
Every
the freezer.
night. Yes.
It's terrifying. You hear that. And that is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
You think like what it sounds like a demon. It sounds like Abazu, like coming from your kitchen. That is terrifying.
Another one for me. So people put their garbage out like really early in the morning. Like I'm talking like 5 a.m. So you can wake up sometimes with like outside, like our neighbors, and you hear like the crunching, and it sounds like it's in your yard. And like so that noise in the morning freaks me out. Always wakes me up. I'm like, what is that? And I like go out and like look outside the front windows just to see. Like that's creepy. And I think I think the ice cream truck is really scary. The sound of the ice cream truck. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm primed by
I hear
horror.
you.
I think like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So like I understand your question, Michael Myers, but like everything to me is like kind of scary and like primed by these horror movies that I've
Any
seen.
sound.
Any
Michael
sound.
Myers. What we're trying to say is
High-pitched.
we've been watching horror movies since we were 5 years old. So basically anything. At this point.
Scary.
Scary, yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for Sips and Screams episode 29, Undertone. Thank you so much to Ian Bender for sharing all your insights on the casting process and behind the scenes of your experience casting Undertone. We really appreciate that, and we cannot wait to see what's next for you. And thank you to all of our listeners so much for joining and listening today. Join us next time as we sip on more themed cocktails and discuss the good, the bad, and the truly terrifying of our favorite horror movies. Cheers.
Cheers.